Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey and you're watching Adorama TV, and this is the new Olympus OMD E-M1 Mark III. The Olympus have kindly lent me this camera for the day to test it out on a shoot. I'm in a fantastic empty Georgian house and we're going to shoot some shabby chic portraits. So what's changed since the previous Mark II? Well, on the outside, you'll notice there's now ISO buttons and exposure compensation buttons. There are more options on the mode wheel, but most importantly, there's now a joystick, which makes just moving the focus and going through the menus that much quicker and easier. Inside, Olympus has given this camera a new processor and improved the image stabilization system. And it's kind of those two things combined that really make a difference to how this camera performs. So I'm going to do a quick little test with image stabilization. So this camera, this lens, should be a 7 stops of image stabilization in body. I've got a wide angle lens, so I'm giving myself the best chance here. Charlotte's going to have to stay still during these shots because if she moves, it doesn't matter how good the image stabilization is. So I've got 50th of a second as my start. Let's try that. Okay, Charlotte, here we go. No problems. Let's go for a little bit less, 25th of a second. I'm just going to wind it down one stop at a time, 13th of a second. I'm not really trying to be particularly steady. 3rd of a second. 3rd of a second sounds like a long time, handheld. Okay. Ooh, that's not nice. We're way over a second now. Okay, let's try 3 seconds. Let's see, I'm going to go 4. I'm going to push my luck. 4 seconds, here we go. Come on. Blimey, that was a long time. Okay, how does that look? Well, it's not pin sharp. Not bad. As well as a new camera, Olympus has launched a new lens, the 12 to 45mm f4, which sadly I don't have today. I'm a portrait photographer, so not surprisingly, the bit of this camera I was most interested in is the things that are focused for me. And really that means the new and improved face detect, and it really was rather good. So Charlotte was the model for today, and even when her face was pretty small in the frame, I could see the camera just locking on and tracking her around. When I switched out to the 1.2 lenses for a shallower depth of field shots, I turned on eye detect as well. That was incredible. It got focus on her eye shot after shot, pretty much guaranteed every time. It even got to the point where I forgot I was supposed to concentrate on focusing on Charlotte's eye, and I concentrated on the framing of the pictures, which of course is really what technology is supposed to do. All right, so we're just testing out the vlogging capabilities of the camera because, well, this is the sort of camera you might use for vlogging, and all of the autofocus features that are for stills also work for the vlogging as well. And the flippy foldy screen means that I can actually see myself, which is really useful. I am never going to be any good as a vlogger because I keep looking at the wrong screen, and this is actually really hard work but it's tracking my face even on fairly high contrast shots as far as I can see. Got to remember to look at the lens, and yeah, working really well. Of course, I don't just take portraits, I take other pictures as well, so I had to test out the Handheld High-Res mode. So the standard sensor, that's about 20 million pixels. Handheld High-Res increases that to 50 million pixels. And it does it by actually shifting the sensor a tiny amount and taking multiple shots, stitching them together in the camera. Fantastic for static subjects. Landscape photographers, product photographers, they're gonna love that. Having spent the day with this camera, I can say with some certainty that in fact, what Olympus have made is a mini E-M1X. It shares an awful lot of the same DNA. Many features are found in both cameras, but of course this is a much smaller and lighter body. It's got features for landscape photographers, wildlife photographers, wedding and portrait photographers. There's even some astrophotography stuff in here. I'd like to thank Olympus for letting me borrow this camera, but I'd suggest that you check out the Adorama page about it. You'll find the link below, because you might be surprised at what this little camera is capable of doing. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.